Hey guys, I'm here with the DBQ Tips and Tricks Final Edition. Basically, this is my way of giving you guys some tips as you review over the next week and a half because your exam is on Friday of May 15th at 2 p.m. So less than 2 weeks away. We're in the home stretch. You guys are almost there. But these 2 weeks are critical in prepping you for the exam. I just posted a video specifically about the exam format and how like logistically it functions. So the focus of this video is strategy during the actual DBQ. So as you guys know by now, your exam is one DBQ question. It has 5 documents. One of them will be a picture of those 5. So you've had visual images in all of the practice DBQs so far, and that is intentional because you will see at least one image as one of your 5 documents. AP has said that the DBQ will come from periods 3 through 7. So periods 1 and 2 are not eligible. You can still use that information in your context and refer to it throughout the essay, but the DBQ prompt itself will focus on periods 3 through 7. So that's anywhere from 1754 to 1945. The consensus among AP teachers is that it's likely to come from periods 3 or 4. That is because semester-long AP classes had only really covered up to period 4 or 5 when class got out. So that means that we think that they'll pick it from 3 or 4 so that it's a topic that was covered while students were in class, like still school was still in session. That is not a guarantee. I would just say spend a little bit more time studying periods 3 and 4 than you do periods 5 and 6 and 7. That's my recommendation. So let's jump into some specific strategies. So I've posted this. Some of you guys have said that you're using it. Some of you have not said anything. I posted it along. It's this Marco practice guide. So I posted it with every practice DBQ. And it looks like it took me back there again. Just pull it in. It gives you like a little bit more information about DBQ. This is really what I want you guys to look at, the rubric strategies. So a lot of you guys have told me you're struggling with a shorter time frame. You have 15 fewer minutes, even though it's only 2 fewer documents. So less time, more of a time crunch. The big thing to point out here, and I sent this in a remind, but I want to elaborate, is if you're finding yourself cutting it close on time and you're only getting 2 documents in and then you're hitting that 45-minute mark, what he recommends, and I agree, is to skip the context. So when you're writing, just write your thesis, then go straight into the document analysis. So you would describe 2 documents, use them to support the argument, outside evidence. So skip the context, and then if you have time, come back for it down here. And you can always, because you're doing it on the computer, it's nice and easy to go back up to the top of your essay and write the context there. The reason being the context is only 1 point out of 10, whereas the stuff that you can get within the body of your essay, the sourcing, POV, outside evidence, accounts for a lot more points, even though it takes less time. So focus your time on the body of your essay, get the context if you can. I fully agree with that strategy. I think it's really going to help you, especially if you are someone who works and reads a little bit slower. Definitely use this strategy. So annotation guide, some of you used it. It's fine. You're not going to have time to fill this out on the actual exam day. It's just more so to help you like think through stuff. This last one, pre-writing worksheet, could be helpful for you. General argument, your thesis statement, body paragraph, using your evidence. This one could be helpful. This is your last one if you want to use that to brainstorm on exam day. And then down here, it's helpful you have the writing checklist that if you have time, you can look through this before you submit. Just kind of asking you to go back over the key things. So review resources, what you guys can do to prepare. Actually, before I jump into that, I'm going to go down a couple other things. I've already posted this one, like the rest of what's down here below. I just want to run back through them really quick. The exam rubric, is posted on Google Classroom, also easily accessible through College Board. Big one being you have 2 pieces of outside evidence that you can earn points for. You only need to use 2 out of the 5 documents, summarize and use to support an argument. You get 2 out of the 3 evidence points there. And then 2 HIP points, or POV, sourcing, whatever you want to call it. 2 points available for that. And then the complexity point, which is basically the perfect essay point. So there's your rubric. Let's go back. A lot of you guys have missed points for outside evidence. You're not including 2 specific pieces of outside evidence because it's different than the original rubric we worked with. Same thing. You need to do a HIP for 2 different documents. And you get 1 point for each successful use of the HIP. Reminders that there's a difference between HIP and outside evidence. HIP allows you to relates directly to the document and allows you to better understand it. So talking about who the person is that wrote the document, giving you background on that person, or talking about the specific context in which the document was written, what the purpose of the document was, why was it written, or who the intended audience and how that might have influenced the document. That is HIP, anything directly related to the document, whereas outside evidence is going to be other things that you're pulling in supporting your argument. So it's not directly related to a document or directly related to your analysis of a document. Instead, it's additional information that supports your bigger argument. And I've got examples there related to one of our past prompts. And then the thesis, remember your formula. You do not have to use this formula. It just helps you structure it in your head if you like to have formulas. It needs to be 1 to 2 sentences. Some of you guys have been giving me 3-sentence theses, and that is not going to get credit. They're going to determine whichever 2 they think you're intending to use, and that's what they're going to grade. So it got to be 1 to 2 sentences. If you have time in your conclusion, really, you don't even need to write a conclusion. But just restate your thesis, word it differently. Maybe you'll word it better the second time around at the end of your essay, and it'll make more sense, and that could allow you to get that point. All right, so let's go back up to the review resources. I posted a DBQ bank on AP Classroom. Let's go back, classwork. Sorry, this is my fault. AP Classroom. Okay, so, and I said that there. So if you go log on to AP Classroom, I posted the 9, I think, prompts that directly align with, from this time periods that we're using, prompts from AP. They're going to all be 7 documents, so it'll be a little bit different, but it's really just for you to look through and get an idea of some more questions and brainstorm on how you'd answer them. AP is done. They're actually posting 2 practice exams, or 2 practice questions essentially, on their YouTube channel. So they also have review for all of the different stuff that you need to know. They have lessons on the content that we didn't cover. Don't worry about that right now. But they have in-depth review. And then if you come all the way down, AP US History timed exam practice number 1, then they have a review, which they're going to do tomorrow. And then they'll have a second practice exam, a second review of that practice exam. So plenty of ways to practice. The AP US History channel, I've linked that there. Crash Course US History, Tom Ritchie, A-Push Prep. So I've used some of his stuff. He's doing American Revolution, Early National America, Jeffersonian Republic, Jacksonian Democracy. He's really engaging as a speaker, and does a really good job. So if you want someone different to listen to each night, they have review led by Tom Ritchie. Let's go here. And then if you're someone who wants to do hands-on, you want like a guided review thing for you to fill out in addition to your thematic review timeline. This guy's got periods 3, 4, and 5. So you come down here, you can download it. Word doc. They give you like the chapters that it matches in the textbook, some potential essay topics, which obviously we only have DBQ. This is based on a regular exam. Key vocab terms, a video, and then it has questions like for you to answer. And they're not absurdly long. Oh, look, it's our image from the last DBQ. And purpose, support, oppose, boom. Got little things for you to work through. Some document analysis, a lot of document analysis here, and then some of the key things. So if you prefer review as like hands-on, I recommend these. It only has 3, 4, and 5 free. Then he tries to suck you in, so you have to pay for the other ones. But very good resources. I use his slides in class, so I recommend Adam Norris as well. That's really it. It's gonna be like you get out of it what you put into it. The content review is still important, but not crucial like it would have been on the regular exam. You can look stuff up, but if you spend 10, 15 minutes looking stuff up, that means that you only have 30 minutes left to write and read the documents. So don't rely on looking stuff up. Use that as a last resort as you have time. All right. Well, I'm available to answer questions anytime. Let me know. Um, I'm here to help you guys, so just let me know what you need. All right. I will talk to you guys soon.